How's it going, trainers? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with this year's Pokémon Go Fest. With all the negativity surrounding the game and the summer months approaching quickly, many of us are worried that the annual event may not be happening. So for this video, I'll be giving my thoughts on why we haven't heard anything, if it could even be happening, and more. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone. So as I'm sure you've heard by now, things have been pretty somber with Pokémon Go recently. It's been over 3 weeks since the changes to remote raids went into effect, and since then, Niantic has remained relatively silent. But not only that, there's also been an array of issues ranging from game-breaking bugs to lackluster events. All of this combined has caused a considerable amount of frustration within the community, which in turn has painted a pretty bad outlook for Pokémon Go. And it's because of this I'm starting to worry about the future of this game. Now along with that, there's been absolutely no word regarding Pokémon Go Fest 2023. It's now been over 3 weeks since the time we got last year's announcement for Go Fest, and this especially concerns me since last year saw the return of in-person Go Fest events. Events, mind you, that people have to travel to in order to participate. So as a result, the community is really starting to question if they're even planning to do a Go Fest again this year. So why haven't we heard anything about this year's Go Fest? Well, I think a big possible reason for that is due to the substantial amount of backlash Niantic is currently facing. While I'm not going to go too much into the details about that, Niantic has made some unfortunate missteps that aren't sitting well with the community. And despite the ample amounts of feedback and the second wave of Hear Us Niantic, Niantic has remained headstrong and not provided any response to the concerns. So because of this backlash, it's possible they could be waiting for players to calm down before announcing Go Fest. Which in my opinion, I'm not really sure that's going to happen. Sentiment towards Niantic decisions has been deteriorating for some time, and for some, the lack of response to the remote raid feedback was pretty much the final nail in the coffin. So if they continue to stay silent, it's bound to cause even more resentment that risks compromising the positive atmosphere that comes with these events. Now another reason why I think we haven't heard any Go Fest news, and this is just purely speculative, is the possibility that they could be dialing back or even removing the global Go Fest altogether. Earlier this year, we saw them lean more into location-based events with this year's Go Tour, an annual event that's been exclusively global since 2021. But for this year's event, the in-person event was stacked with awesome features and bonuses, while the global event was less exciting and felt like your average special weekend event. To be fair, the Hoenn Tour wasn't completely dissimilar from last year's Go Fests, but given that there was a substantial difference between the global and in-person Hoenn Tours, I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that Niantic could continue to water down these global events. Now unfortunately, this also raises an even worse scenario where there may not even be a global event at all. As I said before, the Global Go Tour Hoenn sacrificed key features in exchange for being a free event, and while it was nice that people could play without needing to buy a ticket, it could also be seen as a stepping stone towards them transitioning away from doing big global ticketed events. Now in regards to when this year's Go Fest could happen, I think it's still possible to hold the events later in the summer. I'd have to say they'd probably take place between the end of July and the month of August, and there would either be shorter breaks between or even fewer events given the current timing. However, that small window continues to close, so if they're going to say something, I really hope it comes sooner rather than later. Now, of course, if Go Fest happens this summer, there's the question of if it's going to have a global portion or if it's going to be exclusively in person. While I do think that a global event could be in the works, I don't see it being the way that it used to. If anything, it'll probably be similar to the Global Hoenn Tour, where it won't include a required ticket and have limited bonuses. Personally, I'd rather see the opposite with a ticket and better bonuses, but I think it's fair to assume that this won't be the case with a global Go Fest. So before we wrap up this video, I want to talk briefly about an interesting development from over the weekend. But before we get into this, I want to make it perfectly clear that this information is 100% false. That's been directly confirmed by Niantic, so if you see posts about this, please don't start booking travel if you are planning on going this year. So early on Sunday afternoon, there was a source saying that there would be a Go Fest taking place in Vancouver at the beginning of June. In a post allegedly found on the Visit Vancouver website, it was said that the Vancouver National Historic Site in Washington State would be hosting the event, and it would be taking place on June 3rd and 4th, 2023. Now, as I said, this has been officially confirmed false by many of the partner creators who said they've been officially given word from Niantic. So late Sunday night, I was going through some of the Twitter comments that were left on these posts, and I found something interesting regarding Go Stadium's post. In one of the comments, someone asked if Stadium could confirm the dates for this year's Go Fest, but they responded that they couldn't because they weren't allowed to yet. Another user then followed up on the post asking if they could confirm if Go Fest was even happening, and once again they said they couldn't because of a non-disclosure agreement. I found this part in particular to be interesting because, as I've said throughout this video, we don't have any dates, locations, or even a confirmation that Go Fest is happening. Here you have someone spreading potential misinformation about the event, and Niantic isn't even coming forward to say anything themselves. But even worse, they're preventing people who may know that information from saying anything, and that's just beyond insane to me. You'd think that with everything going on, they'd at least try to make a statement, yet here they are continuing to stay silent on the matter. And I guarantee that as long as this continues to circulate, it's just going to continue feeding the flames until they make an announcement. Now, regardless of when it's announced, I'm sure the backlash will continue until Go Fest and may even impact the attendance for the event. The recent changes have made a lot of players turn to free-to-play options, and since Go Fest requires a ticket and travel costs, I'm sure we'll see a drop in participation compared to previous years. Really, in order to save this event and the future of Pokémon Go, I think the first step that Niantic needs to take is to address the community concerns. I think once we do that, we can start moving towards a middle ground between what Niantic wants and what the community wants. But the more they stay silent while continuing to make these missteps will only further drive a wedge between the community and Niantic. So guys, that's really all I gotta say regarding this summer's Go Fest. Unfortunately, there really isn't anything tangible right now, but when we finally do get an announcement, I'll be sure to post an update about it. Personally, I really hope we see something happen soon, because I really don't want to see this game continue to suffer. But anyways, be sure to let me know down in the comments what you think is happening with this year's Go Fest. And be sure to subscribe for more awesome Pokemon content. So until next time, thank you all so much for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.